About 2 weeks ago, Doom Eternal got its first non-cosmetics based update since November of last year, which was about half a year ago. That means that it's been over 6 months since we've seen anything even slightly significant added to the game, so it was obviously kind of exciting when Update 6.66 Rev 2 dropped in late April. The new update did quite a lot in the realm of bug fixes and new options. They were able to fix some major bugs that have been there since launch, balance out some battle mode quirks, and add some amazing new accessibility features. Those new features, while they admittedly should have been there since launch, added new options to help those who may have difficulty seeing or hearing, and that's extremely thoughtful. But you probably already knew that because we covered this in a news video not too long ago. What we didn't cover in that news video, however, was something completely new that they added with the update that I didn't even notice until recently. And after scanning through the patch notes again, it looks like it wasn't even brought up, which is probably why I missed it. But it's a feature that's extremely easy to overlook even if you're a very frequent player, so I kinda get it. Going into the game settings, you can customize the HUD to a pretty surprising degree. You're able to change the size, you can remove specific portions of it, you can disable it altogether, and you can change the HUD's color. I'd say that almost everyone has known about this since launch. It's a pretty universally enjoyed feature due to the variety of color options to choose from. They have one that's more of a seafoam green, they have one that's entirely red, there's one that changes everything to a golden brown color, which is my favorite, then there's a new one. This one changes the menu to make the text a lot more legible by heightening the overall contrast. It changes those light olive greens to some dark forest greens, and it changes the oranges to dark reds. This really just affects the menu options as it only slightly heightens the contrast on the HUD, but it's still extremely interesting that this is our only new HUD recolor since the game's launch. This specific feature is one of the most enjoyable things to customize in the game aside from obviously your Slayer and weapons, and it's probably a whole lot easier to make than a new skin, so I'm kind of surprised that we've only gotten one in the 2 years since the game's launch. I genuinely found this interesting enough that I felt like I needed to bring this up in a video. This interesting discussion topic wasn't enough to cover on its own, though, so I had to wait until I had a small amount of news to cover with it, so that's what the rest of today's video is. A Doom news video, the stuff you're really here for. So getting into that portion of the video, last year I pretty thoroughly covered Quakecon and all of the announcements that came with it, both before, during, and after the event. Doom and Quake are currently in a sort of idle state. Neither of them are really hot enough topics for me to be able to comfortably cover every little Quakecon detail, but I figured I'd take this opportunity to briefly throw this in here. All of this year's Quakecon merch was just announced, including the exclusive charity shirts, and they look pretty awesome. Even though the event kinda doesn't even start until the middle of August, these items will be going up for pre-order on Friday, May 13th, which is this week. If you're interested in these, then I hope you enjoy the stuff, but I don't think it's all that important, which is kinda why it's just thrown in here. If you're interested in being consistently updated on all things Doom and Quake, then you should subscribe to the channel and leave a like on today's video. Unlike the Quakecon merch, these videos are practical, easy to look at, and completely free, so you're honestly losing money by not subscribing. Today's video was just something random I felt like talking about, nothing all that important, but I'll be sure to cover all of the big stuff as it happens. I'm sure things will start to ramp up once we get closer to the big Bethesda and Xbox showcase in June. Anyways, you can find a link to the Doom update patch notes in the description if you want to read those again, or you can click on the end card to have me give you the easier to understand version. Other than that, though, I think that's all I have for today's discussion news video hybrid, so thank you all for watching. Until next time.